Yes, football is back, guys, and you know because the fans are back in the terraces and Chelsea's playing Arsenal at Emirates Stadium. Let's get into it.
And blue is the colour. SCN! Drogba! Lampard! That could be the
Greetings! Welcome back to Couch Critic with me, Dennis P. And you done know this is another Chelsea Arsenal preview show. But before we get into all of that, could you please do me a big favor, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and a bad man will hit that bell notification button to keep up with the latest and the newest. Okay, so it's Chelsea versus Arsenal up at Emirates Stadium this Sunday, and you know that's a much anticipated match, a banger, one that we will be thinking about for quite some time. So I'm just going to quickly get into some of the ideas that I think will be employed this game for both the opposition Arsenal and of course our Chelsea. But I'm going to start with the lineup because I think that that's probably where the most intriguing aspects of the game are going to come through. Whether or not Lukaku starts, are we going to see Trevor Chalobah back in the central defense? Or are we going to see guys like Chilwell come back into the side? Alonso, does he keep his place after a goal? For me, I think that if we start in goal, it's got to be Mendy. That shouldn't surprise anybody. It's going to be Mendy. He's been solid, and in front of that defense, I think he's already formulated a good partnership and a relationship. So I expect him in goal, obviously. Central back, I do think that we're going to try and get Azpilicueta back into his preferred role at center back at this point in time. So I'd like to see the captain at right center back. And then we go with, I guess, Thiago Silva, the center back position, just because I don't think that if we go into next week at Liverpool, we're going to just throw him right into the lion's den, put him in against Mane and Salah without having some minutes, professional minutes under his belt. So I do think that Silva will start this game alongside Rudiger, who seems to be a mainstay at the left center back position. At the wing back position, right wing back, I think it's got to be Reece James, just because I really do think that he's ready now. He's ready to come back in and, stake his claim for the team. And at left back, a surprise for me, I really do think that Alonso should keep his place, mainly because I haven't seen much of Chilwell yet, and he hasn't even come on as a sub or any of that sort. So I really do think that Alonso's done enough to keep his place. And when you look at the opposition side, I don't think that they're going to have much. They don't really carry much threat at that right back position right now with I believe Chambers playing there the last time. So I think that Alonso might be able to inflict some punishment and damage inside their box, and also just be an aerial presence for us as well. I think that his goals and his set pieces is obviously something that we can rely on going forward. But his early season form is also something that we can rely on. So I'd like to see him at left wing back. In the midfield is where things start getting interesting. We know that Conte was slightly injured last week and didn't see a lot of action. And the talk is that he is back into full fitness and is back in training. But with every match, we know that we stand a better chance of winning it with N'Golo Kante in the midfield. So I'm going to give him the start next to Jorginho. And of course, up top now, we're going to have lots of discussion about who should play and who shouldn't. After the press conference today, Thomas Tuchel pretty much confirmed that Romelu Lukaku will be starting as a striker, the number 9, and it's deserved. I think this is the perfect match to bring him in. London derby against our fierce rivals. A game that he will be salivating at to score goals and just to get open his account. So I think that's important for him to start this game, and hopefully he can hit the ground running, because it only gets more difficult as we go into the season. You definitely want your striker hitting the ground running right away, especially coming into the side fresh and new. The main talking points I think within this lineup are going to be who we play behind Romelu Lukaku, and for me right now, I think Mason Mount is nailed on as that left-sided number 10, mainly because he's one of our more used set piece takers. He usually takes the free kicks with his right foot and delivers our corners and whatnot. So I think that he's nailed on, despite the fact that he also has incredible work rate as well. So I think that he's nailed on at the left 10, I guess you can call it. And then on the right side, I'm going to go with Kai Havertz, not because I think that he's been the most in form, but because I think Tuchel's going to give him the rollout and see how he works with Lukaku. But having said that, I haven't seen much from Havertz the last few preseason games and even into the season, he hasn't really shown me that he is warranting a berth. We do have Ziyech coming back to full fitness as well. He's going to be in contention for the squad as well. He's also a possibility there, but I feel just because he hasn't really had a whole week of training, that they might go with Kai Havertz there, and then maybe if the game needs to be changed, you bring on Ziyech. For the most part, I do think Chelsea's going to play that 3-4-3 with Azpilicueta, Silva, Rudiger as our center backs. We got the wing backs as Alonso and Reece James. In the middle of the pitch, I think we're going to go with Conte and Jorginho. And then up top, we're going to have the big man Ram, and he's going to be flanked by Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. Now, in the most recent fixture, we did lose 1-0 to Arsenal on pretty much an own goal. It looked like the back pass to Kepa, which eventually came to Aubameyang, who played it into Smith Rowe, and they scored 1-0. Arsenal did play a 3-4-3 that game to mirror what we were doing, and as much as we had loads of chances to score in that game and just couldn't take any of them. So many crossbars, just missed opportunities. There was that opportunity, Kai went 1v1 right at the beginning of the game. I think it was like 12 minutes in, and skied it over the bar. It was just, our finishing was just so poor that game. But, obviously Arsenal came out and tried to mirror what we were doing, and we're fortunate to get the 1-0 win there. They are currently employing a 4-2-3-1, and I do expect them to play that again at the weekend, just because it does play to their strengths a little bit more. They get a little bit more of their attackers onto the pitch, and it allows them to be a little bit more attack-minded rather than sit back, absorb pressure, which will be plentiful with the attackers we can put on the pitch. I think if they can get the likes of Saka, the likes of Smith Rowe, and Pepe servicing Aubameyang, who I think will start, as I said, I do believe that they'll have a little bit more joy being the home team at getting more of an attacking impetus going on down the pitch. But having said that, I do believe Arsenal are very vulnerable to high presses and whatnot. Yes, they did acquire Ben White for £50 million to help them play out from the back and whatnot, but I don't know if they have the same sort of personnel all over the pitch. Ben White's pretty decent on the ball. Bernd Leno, not so much. Pablo Mari, definitely not so much. You can say the same about Chambers, who will probably be their right back at the start of the game. And, Tierney's okay, but I don't think that he's any sort of like dynamo in that position as far as keeping the ball, recycling possession, and allowing for others to come into the game as a result. So it's gonna be challenging for them, I think, to play out from the back, especially because of how we press so high with them, like some Mason Mount, Havertz. Hopefully Lukaku can show us something, that he understands what we need from our striker, somebody that can really get after the central defenders and put them under immense pressure and force mistakes. Then we have, of course, Conte in behind to just clean up everything else, who's just pretty much indispensable in any side that Chelsea puts out there. You need N'Golo Conte, not just because he, claims so many interceptions, covers so much ground and runs all day, but because he's so good at building attacks as well. Like, you see the transitions from defense to offense is usually triggered by N'Golo Conte. We win the ball, he plays it out to the flank, it comes back into him, and he's off and running. So hope to see more of that at the weekend in Chelsea's familiar 3-4-3. And let's just hope that we could inflict the same sort of damage that we did against Crystal Palace in those particular areas where we used a lot of the pitch, we used the wide areas to a great effect, and then when it came time to use a little bit more of our ingenuity and our intuition and our technique inside the box, we were able to create some opportunities that way as well. We'll have to wait and see. There's no guarantees who's going to start as well, but if it is the likes of Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, they're going to be looking into playing the ball in behind for Lukaku, who I think will have lots of joy against the likes of Ben White and Pablo Mari. I don't think they've encountered a striker quite like him, one that's really physical, powerful, and is able to finish left foot, right foot, and header. I think for this game, the Chelsea player to watch is going to be Romelu Lukaku for obvious reasons. In the last fixture, as I said, Chelsea were just so impotent up top, had so many opportunities to take real advantage of the game and win. Really, we had so many chances and just didn't take any of them. And one mistake led to the 1-0 victory. But When you have a striker like Lukaku, you pay near £100 million for, you expect him to hit the ground running. And I do believe that he'll have some opportunities tomorrow to get in behind the likes of Kieran Tierney, get in behind the likes of Ben White and Pablo Mari if they start. And really, inflict some damage because the servicing he's going to get from the likes of Jorginho over the top, likes of Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, and of course Reece James if he does start the service from out wide. I think we do create a lot of opportunities, and somebody like Lukaku could be the one that's on the receiving end of those. If not, then I do believe that he's the type of person that requires so much attention that if he comes a little bit deeper, he will allow for the likes of Mason Mount or Werner or Kai Havertz to get in behind and get goal scoring opportunities from there as well. So I think this game is going to be centered around the big man in the middle, Romelu Lukaku. If he could have the impact that most of us think and anticipate that he will have, whether it be getting in behind the defense and being a nuisance in the box, or coming deep and sort of like linking a play, holding it up, and then having other guys run in behind. I think his presence is going to be key for Chelsea in this particular fixture and many more fixtures going on. So let's just hope that Romelu has the impact that we all believe that he can have, a £97 million striker can have, and Chelsea come away the victors. But I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Chelsea traveling to the Emirates, very, very difficult place to play, especially for us. The last little while, we're 0-3 the last 3 games we played against Arsenal, team that is always in turmoil, and we just seem to always hand them points when we go in with so much confidence to take it. And I'm not of that sort. I'm definitely not going into this fixture thinking this is a game that Chelsea can just roll over them. Just given the recent results against Arsenal, it gives me reason for pause, and just take the game as a London derby. Anything can happen in it, right? I do believe Chelsea do have the capabilities to win. Whether or not the right Chelsea shows up is another thing in and of itself. And you never know what Arsenal you're going to get, especially in this particular fixture. In the past, yes, we have dominated the majority of the 90, but if you don't get that 3 points, none of that matters. So I do think if I was going to make a prediction, and I usually shy away from it because I just feel like any sort of prediction you make in a match preview just screams of overconfidence. But in the interest of it being my first match preview in quite some time, I'm going to say Chelsea emerge 2-0 winners. We're looking for the likes of Kai Havertz and Alonso to be the goal scorers. I know everyone's looking for Romelu Lukaku to be the guy that delivers the hammer, and it very well might be, but for my money, I'm going to bet on Alonso because he's done it before, and I think Kai Havertz has something to prove at this point in time. I know it's young in his career and whatnot, but I haven't seen much in the last few games that we could say, yes, this guy's ready to perform for us. He's ready to play. He's ready for the Premier League. And I think if he plays tomorrow and he plays from the start, this might be the beginning of him starting to emerge as that talismanic figure that we have in the side. But until then, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high and up the Chelsea. Peace.